Well, hello everybody and welcome to Metaworld News for, let's see, the 7th of May 2017. We bring you headlines here from social worlds, immersive places, and in particular, where relevant, the hypergrid that connects many of the open simulator virtual worlds together. Starting, as I will, with my highlights from my main feed, in fact, that you can follow at twitter.com/Malburns, or one word, MALBURNS. And this is sort of general happenings in the world of immersive worlds, virtuality, and anything sort of vaguely relevant. 6 days ago, in fact, so that would have been about Monday last week, VR Scout, or one word, .com, had an article, VR for Awareness takes over the Tribeca Film Festival. I don't really know much about the Tribeca Film Festival, but it has apparently been a chaotic whirlwind of film festival stuff. It's quite big, and VR has actually virtuality is featured very prominently, but do remember that a lot of this coverage is what I call 360-degree video, immersive video, 3D video rather than actual participatory VR. So let's move forward a bit here. Uploadvr.com. That's all one word, uploadvr.com. I have an article, WebVR's Magic Window is the gateway for pushing VR to billions of people. And it's basically an overview article about virtuality via the web, in particular using WebVR. And, well, read on. Right, 4 days ago, and I don't have a link for this. I wonder why. Oh, this is VR Scout again. And they also report that at VRScout.com, Mozilla, they're the makers of, I was about to say Firestorm, Firefox, and all those wonderful things. They're pushing game-changing web VR to bring VR to the masses. And that is pretty similar to the report that I just mentioned at Upload VR. Also related to that, of course, is voicesofvr.com's podcast. A few days back, podcast 531 was featuring Tony Parisi. Of course, he invented VRML back in the day and is obviously heavily involved with WebVR now, and he's talking about leading Unity's VR and AR strategy into areas beyond gaming. And of course, that is just right up our field because we are beyond gaming here, as it were. Except where the tech's important. Okay, Engadget, 4 days ago. Avegant, we have covered them before. Avegant is the name of the company. Their light field technology gives hope to a mixed reality future. And this is a whole different ball game when it comes to not so much virtual reality headsets. So they actually they use light field technology to quite literally project onto your eyes, and it's very different from actually looking at a screen, whether it's a double screen and whatever. Right, 4 days ago, VIVR.net, a little plug here really, it's to a member profile of Lisa Langston. It's actually a profile of her as part of Women in Virtuality. And it's the list of stuff she's involved with goes on and on, but a nice photo of her talking at the OpenSim Community Conference last year. And indeed, of course, she is part of IMA, the Immersive Metaverse Alliance, which we've been covering a bit here too. VRScout.com again, 3 days ago, has their week in VR review. Again, more the hardware and general side of VR. And the Independent Co.uk, that's independent.co.uk here, major national newspaper here, has an article saying how VR could break America's opioid addiction. Yes, they figure that most Americans are taking opiates or opioids, and yeah, constructive use of VR could get them off them, I think is the expression. All right, voicesvr.com again, number 532. A couple of days back, the extremes of mental presence, cognitive enhancement, biohacking, psychedelics, and transhumanism. Going deep here. Pretty much an interview with Eric Metzner, who identifies himself as a techno-optimistic futurist who sometimes works an entire workday within VR for the purposes of expanding his mind. Well, there you go. Interesting thing there. Right, a couple of days to go. This is actually, I think, quite big news. But Facebook, after all this, have shut down their VR content division, the Oculus Story Studios. So they might be promoting Oculus, but apparently they've abandoned making any content for it. Funny old idea, Facebook, really. And Maria, or is it David? It's one or the other, over at hypergridbusiness.com has 15 ideas for marketing a grid. And there again, we're kind of looking at the hypergrid side of things. So I have a few other little posts, as it were, to do with the hypergrid in itself. But first of all, I'm going to hand over to James here, James Outloud, who's going to give you a little short rundown on what happened at the Hypergrid, or rather OpenSim Developers Conference, Developers Meetup.
Right.
Meetup this week. Come on, I'm overplaying it a bit, aren't I?
Well, all applies, right?
Yeah.
It's all to the same ends. Very short update. I was somewhat distracted because of other things going on, but I did attend the meeting, and there were a lot of people there last Tuesday. And again, this is the office hours of the OpenSim developers, when anyone can come and attend. The time and location are published on the opensimulator.org website in the developers area. And really the discussion got into quite a bit of depth about permission testing. And the meeting is typically an hour long. It actually went 2 hours long, as people actually started digging into the code. And if I go through my notes again and understand it, I think a couple of corrections to the code were made at that time in the meeting. So that was kind of interesting. It was a while you are here kind of kind of activity. So that was fun. And again, there was a little bit of discussion about the Open Simulator, the organization, and there was a suggestion that Open Simulator as a organization should charge some kind of a user fee. Well, of course, that asks all kinds of questions. What is the organization? We've been here 100 times with the developers conversation. So, and there was a good number of people that said, let's look to the IMA to address that type of support.
Very good.
So yeah. It was a very good meeting. I really enjoyed it. It was good to be back at it too.
It certainly made sense that they would go with something like IMA, actually, because of the every time, as you say, this comes around, you get developers who don't like the idea that somebody's paying for them. They feel like they're a slave to the kind of system. I don't know, if it was destinations, it's supposed to be a different matter, but IMA are certainly shaping up as an interesting, overview approach to all that stuff.
Very hopeful about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm switching over to the feed at my Google Plus, and indeed at twitter.com/Metaworld News, another account for this show, really. It's all over now, but I did tweet a program overview for the 9th VRT WebCon, 5th to 7th of May. It's just over, really, which is a virtual roundtable. It's to do with language learning technologies, by and large, educational conference. I will mention it because the link is obviously there if you want to read it and see the full agenda. But I would add that coming up on the hour after this show, we will be here with him. We'll review And Heike Phillip from that conference will be one of our guests there. And interestingly enough, you will find out when we're live, it ties in a little with another topic of discussion that we're going to be concentrating on today. So a lively show in store for us in about, about 5 minutes from now, if you're watching live, that is. Right, let me flip back there a bit. I think this was a Google Plus. Yes, it was a nice little poster from Member, no less. Hypergrid Safari. Wednesday, the 24th of May. That is a couple of weeks away yet, as you probably gather, but it will be the 3rd anniversary party. So everybody are meeting at hg.francogrid.org:80:HG Safari. And there will be performances from, amongst others, Sunshine Savannah, Whirly Placebo, and Yarol Fresno. I've had him on the show, and I still can't pronounce that name. But great fun should be had and all on May 24th there. And just flipping to the Metaworld feed itself, Thursday again has her post at hgsafari.blogspot.com, which essentially tells you all about last week's Safari. And believe it or not, that seems to be it. In fact, it doesn't actually look like my feed has fully updated there. I do apologize if I may not be quite up to date this week. If anything dramatic has happened in the universe in the last 24 hours, I didn't know about it because I haven't been reading my feeds this morning. I've been fiddling around here. And for those regular viewers who think something has happened to our stage set here for the news, well, you're quite right. I rather stupidly returned everything that wasn't mine on this region, forgetting that half the things were mine under a different avatar name, or a couple of different avatar names. So a lot of rebuilding must happen, hopefully, by this time next week. So that's it for now. As I said, we will be back at noon Pacific time today, and everything available in replay, of course. With the In-World Review. We'll be joined by Heike Phillip, Leah Lobo, Pathfinder Lester, and Adam Frisbee. So we're quite a full house for that one. But as for the news, we'll see you again, same time, same place next week. Bye for now.